Hi guys. So this is basically my first ever like proper YouTube video where I've like filmed it the majority of the way through. There's just a few wee parts of it that I haven't done. But I hope you all like it and stay tuned to see how I created this look.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just starting off with a little bit of moisturiser. This is the Simple Skin Moisturiser. Okay, these are the horns that I've made out of polymorph plastic. And I didn't have no spirit gum, no latex, no nothing to glue these on, so I literally had to grab my glue that I use for doing glitter tattoos, and I've just used the Sculpt Gel part A and B mixed together to stick them onto my face more and just to kind of smooth it onto my skin so it doesn't look like there's any harsh edges. So this is all I'm doing right here, is smoothing it all down. And these basically kept them on my head because otherwise the glue from the glitter tattoos were just going to fall off. And now I'm just going in and basically scraping down a part of it to make it look like it's actually coming through my skin. And then just smoothing it down a little bit more. Okay, and beside this I'm just going to use the Kryolan translucent powder. I use this as my everyday loose powder as well. To prime my skin, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. This is basically my go-to primer for every makeup that I do. No matter what foundation I'm using, I always use this primer. The foundation I'm going to use today is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in Cool Bone. To be honest, when I first got this foundation, I didn't like it at all. And then I bumped into an Estee Lauder worker one day in Boots, and she had told me to use the Kira Daily Hero Brush for it, and my one had broke. So I used the NYX, I think it's the brush number 3. Yeah, number 3, and love it, absolutely love it. For concealer, I'm just using the Collection 2000 in the shade Fair. Just doing the usual places, around my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, my chin, my cupid's bow. I like to blend this out one bit at a time because I feel that it dries in very quickly. I just used the Kryolan translucent powder that I used earlier, just to set everywhere around my face that I used the concealer on. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Beach Bronzer in Bronzed. This is basically just as a base for the colours that I'm going to put on later. I'm going a little bit more heavy with this than what I normally would because I want it just to stand out. When I first get into it, it looks really crazy, but after a while it all comes together. To darken up my face a little bit more and just to add a little bit more dimension, I'm using the two darkest colours in the NYX Contour Palette. I think one of them is called Taupe, which would normally use to contour. But I've just went in very dark, and you'll see in a minute that I've actually had to go in and blend out the edges a wee bit because I've just went a wee bit too overboard. Now I'm going in with the 545 eyeshadow from Grimace. If I were to put this down on its own, it wouldn't look good. This is why I've put down the bronzers before from the Urban Decay bronzer and the NYX ones as well. The brush I'm using to put this on is the number 8 brush from NYX. It's a blusher brush, but I would usually use it for foundation. I'm taking that dark red colour from the Kryolan Bruise Wheel to go around the edges of the horns just to make it look very like irritated and sore. And because the brush that I'm using has a bit of a dent in it, it just gives it a better effect with the pattern it was making. Now I'm taking that dark purple and black colour from the Burned Skin colour wheel from Kryolan just to add a bit more irritated skin effect. I'm just going in with my spatula again to take some of that sculpt gel away from the horns so I can add some blood in there. Be really careful when you're doing this so you don't poke your actual real skin with the sharp end. I'm using the Kryolan Fresh Scratch Blood and look how much I'm actually struggling to open this. I like using this blood because even when it dries in hard, but it still looks very wet. And you can see here where I'm poking the blood down into, where I've scraped out earlier. I've just added some blood around the edges and then I've scraped it up more to make it look as if they've actually came out of my head. For anyone that lives in Belfast and you want to know where to get all of this stuff from if you're only starting up your kit, I get all of mine from Elliott's or from Titanic Creative Management. But the polymorph plastic that I used to make the horns, I bought that online. I'm just adding a little bit more colour to my face. This is the Makeup Obsession eyeshadow from Boots. These are actually brilliant, and at the start I didn't want to buy them because I thought, no, the colour isn't going to be good, but it's brilliant. And this is the eyeshadow Burnt. This is another eyeshadow from Grimace. This is the Yellow 282. These eyeshadows are so pigmented, they're brilliant, and I just love them. I'm going in on my crease with that eyeshadow I used earlier on my face, the burnt orange one from Makeup Obsession. I'm taking my Vivid Brights Cream Colour Paint Pot in Bad Blood. That mine is a little dried up, so I'm just taking some of the Smashbox Oil Primer, putting a few drops in there, mixing it about. I'm only putting this on the outside and inside of my eyes, and then I'm going to take a clean fluffy brush and blend that in a little. Okay, I've already done the other eye, but I've used the NYX Colour Red palette. This is my favourite palette from NYX. I'm just using this to kind of set the Vivid Brights paint pot and add a little bit more dimension to the eyes. I've smoked this eyeshadow out a lot and I've put a good load in my inner corner just to make it look a little bit more like mysterious, but I haven't put this on my lower lash line. I do apologise for being Kathy in this video, but wait for it because it does get good. I'm going back in with the Bad Blood cream colour on my waterline, and it just makes this eye makeup look amazing and it pops so much. I'm using my NARS Creamy Concealer in Fair to cut my crease, and I'm using the Bare Minerals concealer brush. To set my concealer, I'm using another Grimace eyeshadow in white. It's 001. And And then I'm going back in again with the yellow eyeshadow from Grimace and that burnt orange eyeshadow from Makeup Obsession. Okay, so after those colours, I'm going back in with that dark red colour from the NYX Colour Red palette, just to blend it in with the rest of the eyeshadow. After I do that, I'm going in with the NYX Glam Liner in 24 karat. This just adds a little bit of glam to the eyeshadow. What you're about to witness is Kathy Kelly being Kathy Kelly. This is the type of thing that I have to stick on a daily basis.
So my name's Cat too. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Come here. I'm gonna get this in.
My name's Cat too. Oh fuck.
My name's Cat too.
Oh fuck.
Come here.
The eyebrow brush I'm using is the dual-ended eyebrow brush from Makeup Forever. It's got a really nice thin liner brush at the end of it. The eyebrow product I'm using is the NYX eyebrow gel. I honestly can't recommend this eyebrow gel enough. It is amazing, and people say it is just compared to the Makeup Forever one. So here I'm just taking what little product is left on the brush from doing my eyes earlier on to bring that eyeshadow down my nose a little. For my lips, I just used that Vivid Brights pot in Bad Blood from NYX again. This is like literally a multi-use product. And for lipstick, I'm using the Urban Decay liquid lipstick in Crimson. I love this. I use this all the time. It's one of my favourite lipsticks ever. I do have a little beauty spot on my upper lip, but when I put makeup on, it covers it up, so I just like to darken it up again. When I was originally putting this on my chest, I did think it was a good idea. I don't know why I done it but it just kind of added to the makeup a bit more. I added a little bit more fake blood. For some reason when I put this on it and it dried in, it kind of just flaked off. It must be the foundation that I have on. So that's it guys. I hope you all really enjoyed this video and I can't wait to do more.